Hey everyone, welcome to the Academy Consulting Podcast. My name is Erica.
And I'm Mike.
And we are super excited to talk today all about being
hot mess.
A hot mess.
Hot mess.
I think I just said this like last week. One day I was like, seriously, I am a hot mess right now.
And we've been teaching it in our Life Academy here at Academy Consulting, all about hot messes. And the biggest thing, the first thing that I taught about in this past month was that we're all a hot mess in some way, right?
Yes.
Have you ever looked at someone and thought that though? Like, let's have a little confession time here. Have you ever looked at someone in your life and then said the words, "They're a hot mess"?
Well, I don't know if I've looked at other people, but I think of it about myself a lot.
Huh, you're nicer than me because I've looked at other people and thought they were a hot mess. But then if I'm being real about it, and this is what we taught this past month, sometimes you got to look in the mirror and realize that some area of your life is just a hot mess too.
Yeah, we're all hot messes. And basically what it is like you look good on the outside, you put on a brave face and pretend that everything's okay. But on the inside, everything is just a mess. And I think that is true for everybody. And I think this is a huge lesson that I always try to teach my kids is like every single person you see, every single one is going through something.
Yeah, everyone's got a mess somewhere. I don't know if you went to like a T-ball game this week or church or work or wherever it is, and you show up and you smile and you act like everything's okay. And that's just what we all do. And that's really probably not even the place to talk about your hot mess. But if you're there thinking you've got some area of your life that's a mess, so is everybody else.
Yeah, and looks can be very deceiving.
Yeah, the most important thing maybe that I taught about this month is just getting in the practice of saying in the mirror, nobody's perfect. You just have some frustrating part of your life where you're struggling or what you can't fix it or whatever. And you just start out by looking in the mirror and saying, nobody's perfect. It helps a ton.
Yeah, give yourself a break. Give yourself a break for your own messes. So I have a question for you.
Shoot.
What do you think has been a time in your life when you really were a hot mess and maybe people didn't actually see it for what it was?
Oh, there's so many times, whether it's, your home finances are a mess and you're trying to get them straightened out, or certainly when you have little kids. I mean, if you have little kids right now, pretty much all day is a hot mess, really, between the feeding and the diaper changing and the getting them off to school or all that stuff. When the kids are small, that's so tough. Life is just like a hot mess all the time.
Yeah.
So that'd be the time, right, where it's just like you're in it so deep you don't even realize. And then you get a little bit older and you think, wow, how did I even deal with that?
Yeah. Well, and I think too, the other thing is like there's hot messes of seasons of our life when the kids are small or I don't know, other times that they can be really
career
difficult.
changes, whatever it might be.
But there's also like tragedies that happen or health diagnoses that happen that really make our lives feel and seem way more messy. And we talked about this a bit in the lessons, and this was something that I really loved, is like there's a lot of our messes that are out of our control that we cannot help, but there's one thing that we always have control over, and that is how we respond to the mess.
Yeah, that's the ticket. Everyone's going to have mess in your life, whether it's a boss who's gone crazy or a friend or a mistake that you made. Everyone has them. But the mess itself isn't your story. It's the cleanup of the mess. It's how you dealt with the mess that becomes your life story.
Yeah. Hopefully. And that's part of the reason why we do what we do here too, as well as like there are some messes that really can pull you along in life and they really can hinder your happiness and your growth and your relationship with yourself, with other people, with God. Something may have happened 30 years ago that you're still mad at God for. And that's hurting you. Just to be completely honest, it's not good for you emotionally or physically.
Wise people use their mess to become better people. Everyone has mess in their lives. If you have children, everyone has naughty children at times. Like we all deal with the same stuff. We all deal with health issues at times. If you haven't yet, you will. The messes come. They just come. So it's not so much the mess that you can think about. It's how do I clean up the mess? And I think, again, the first step is just to look in the mirror and say, you know what, everyone's got a mess, whatever. Even if you made a horrible one yourself, you just look in the mirror and say, whatever, everyone's got a mess. And God understands that. That's the key. So many people think like they have a mess and then they're far from God. Yeah. God says, you know what, everyone makes mistakes. He literally says that in the Bible. So it's not the mistake that's the big deal. It's how you deal with it's the big deal.
Yeah. And how you can find good in it or find, healing in the journey or, make good out of bad.
Yeah, and I would say two things. Number one, for yourself, right? Like you need to heal and you need to be healthy, and that's important. And maybe you need someone to help you do that. That's cool if you do. That's great. Get help. But after that, then your messes become something you can use to help other people.
Yeah. I loved what we talked about in one of the lessons this month was, you know, if you are in a mess right now, here's one thing you have to know. You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
No matter what you're going through. And here's how we know. You said something in one of the lessons of someday your mess is going to be summed up in one sentence.
Yeah.
And it's so true, right? So can you sum up one of your really big life messes in one sentence?
Well, there's so many, but a really big one for me would be years ago my dad committed suicide. So there's one sentence. It happened. And generally, there's not much more to talk about as you explain that to someone. However, in the middle of it, right, it was tragic. It was really difficult to deal with. But over time, I did deal with it. I understood it and kind of wrapped my mind around the situation, and eventually understood it so well I was able to help other people. When you've been through something difficult like that, you just learn a lot through the experience. And that's years ago. I can't tell you how many people over the years I've talked to about suicide. They had a suicide in their friend group or in their family, and I was able to help them through because I've been through it myself. And so any mess that you've gone through or that you're in the middle of right now, you do have the potential of becoming healthy, but then even better, like helping someone else struggle through it and get healthy too. That's actually the beauty of it. Yeah. I feel great every time I help someone through one of their messes.
Yeah, and I think another tip too, and this is something that I help people with all the time, is being present right where you are, to not allow your mess to consume your yesterday and your tomorrow, but just be present in today and look around and find the good that's going on around you and see the beauty. Like it's fall right now, so you can just go outside and you can experience good in 2 minutes by just looking around you. I think that helps sometimes, but also know, again, I can't stress this enough, that no matter what, you are going to be okay.
Yeah, and you got to take steps, right? Like Erica just said, you could sit in it and you could stew in it forever. That's just not healthy for you. It's not good for you. Instead, choose to do something about it. Choose to get help. Choose to talk to a friend. Choose to make a plan. Like, I have this financial mess in my life. Here's my plan. Or I have this career mess right now. I just don't want to do this anymore. What's your plan? What's your plan for a new career?
Right.
Sit and make a plan and then just take the first step.
And this is something that we do every day with our clients, and something that we would love to help you with as well. Whether you're going through something emotionally or a painful thing like a divorce or separation or parenting issues, or like Mike said, a career change, or you just need some help with your finances, all of these things are things that we have helped and continue to help people with on a daily basis. So, it doesn't hurt to ask. It doesn't have to be us, but find someone that you trust and ask for some help, because that is your first step on getting out of your mess.
Yeah, wherever you're at today doesn't need to be your life story. Start thinking about what you want your life to be 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now. Think about what you want your life to be, and then just start mapping out the steps to get there.
Yeah. Here's one last thing I want to say. When you say, if I think about the Erica I am today, and I have a plan for the Erica I want to be in 2 years, my decisions that I make, I can think, okay, is this the Erica now? Is this what she would do? Or is this what I call Erica 2.0? Yeah. Erica now would maybe snooze 3 times and not work out in the morning. But Erica 2.0, the Erica I am striving to be, wouldn't do that and would get up and be motivated and continue. So that's just a tiny little tip to help you stay motivated and excited, hopefully, to have a better future.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And to finish up, I just want to remind you, don't let your mess be your life story. Everyone has a mess. Everyone has a mess. Multiple messes in your life. Don't let your whole life wrap around whatever your mistake was or is right now. Instead, choose to get better.
Sounds good. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time.